this is Musetta. I've decided to make some characters, well, not characters, I've already made a bunch of those, some animals for the War's Curse. So I've decided to make it into this little speed paint thing. The first one I'm making was a combination of an owl, a ladybug, and a zebra. You can see that the route I went, the ladybug was mostly present. An owl was mostly present. I had a lot of different details with feathers and wings. I decided to give it claws, like an owl, I guess. These feathers I really like doing. I decided that the back should be hooves, I guess the idea I kind of had in mind was sort of like a griffin, with a bunch of and then this tail was kind of peacock-like, I guess. Trying to have this nice fanned out tail, kind of royally looking. I then made these little spikies because I really like spikies. They're supposed to be little feathers. These wings, I had that big dot there, kind of represent in nature when you can see most animals, or prey at least, even though this is prey, I just really like it, kind of have a sort of eye shape somewhere on them to keep away their predators. And I carefully did that, and then I started coloring. I decided that I wanted to keep it mostly neutral browns, since it was going to be living in the Elleris or the Wild Woods, which is where the story mainly takes place. I wanted to keep it kind of neutral and kind of look like a barn owl. I didn't really have a barn owl picture, and I didn't really want to look one up, but I knew somewhat what they looked like, so I kind of went with that vibe, kind of looking like a barn owl. I wanted to have it kind of blend into trees a bit, with this nice reddish undertone to keep it give it a bit of a pop of color, just kind of set it apart from other things. I decided that I would keep a little key of the colors on the side, so if anyone wanted to draw them, they could. You can see right here, I'm just going through it all and completely coloring it this color, so I have the base color down, so I don't have to keep switching between colors all the time. What I was thinking here is what do I think when I think warm? It's supposed to be a warm color. This is a very warm, friendly animal. It doesn't really participate in the war, kind of tries to stay away from people. Very very isolated animal breed. They're very prideful, I think. I haven't really decided what I like about them yet, what they're going to be like. I had that little eyebrow, because on the reference I had of a ladybug, it had a little weird eyebrowish thing above its eye. Then I kind of wanted to have it look bubbly, because I really liked the color I was using, so I kept using it. Then I switched it up a bit, and I'm with the antennas, I don't know what I was thinking. Here I wanted to make the feathers just a bit darker, not too much darker than our original color. Then I went in with this dark brown to really make those little dots pop, so that they don't blend in too much with our core color. I wanted to have the feathers be tipped in this nice brown to kind of look like dirt was on it. I don't know why, I just really liked it. I liked these big wings, and I really liked having them like this. I really liked how swoopy it was and very fun. Next I went in with this lighter color and finished doing the feathers. Kind of wanted it to look paler, kind of barn owl-y, but still with a pinkish reddish shade under it. I didn't realize I colored that wing. That wing was not supposed to be colored. Oh wait, no it was. Oopsie. So I kept going in with that. Then went into the tail feathers and did the same with them. And then decided that the claws could also be this color, so I went in with that on the hooves as well. Then I changed up the color a bit and made this nice red that I really liked. I was thinking where else can I put it because I really liked it. So I decided I was going to give it these neck feathers that aren't really in the drawing. I decided to make it a bit smaller because otherwise it looked a bit too gory. It was supposed to be an autumny color. I don't really know how well I achieved that though. And then I had to put all the color down, and these are called the Urfins. Next I had this creature here. It was inspired by a tiger, a wolf, and a horned lizard. And I really wanted it to look more sharp because I decided it's more prominent in the war areas of the map. specifically where more battles are happening between the Caldrians and the Sahardians. I had this nice long tigery tail. This guy, I didn't really know what to do with them, because I didn't really have a lot of elements I could work with. Didn't know how to combine them, so I made them just a bit spikier and not at all that interesting. I then decided to give them darker colors, more oranges a bit. You can see that I'm going in with the same way I did with the Urfins. Decided that these horns are going to be very nice, and that I was going to primarily use orange because tigers, and there's not a lot of tiger parts of this. That little neck scruff, it was supposed to be like sharp. And basically, I just went in and colored it all that nice orange. So I just kept doing that. I was trying to figure out while I was doing this what I wanted the rest of it to look like, because I wanted it to stand out, but at the same time I wanted it to be simplistic. Not too dark, not too light. Something simplistic, not too hard to draw, not too easy though. Because I feel like this creature is very war adjacent. Since this has evolved from something else I haven't decided yet due to the war. And it's become very abrasive, quick to anger, not easily tameable either. It's a big enemy to the camps that are scattered around the map, since these are quite dangerous creatures, though I haven't figured out how yet. I'm pretty sure that little beak was supposed to be a fang. I'm not entirely sure. So I decided I'd just keep going in with the colors I had, keep it quite simple, keep it quite nice, and I decided to call them the Ongers. Then I had these guys, who were inspired by pandas, platypuses, and tree frogs. Very odd combination. And I decided it had two heads. It was like this little thing I had that gave you some elements and some animals and their habitat and where they live and stuff. And you had to combine them, so I decided that this guy was going to be like this. I didn't really know how to incorporate a tree frog, so it ended up with these weird looking legs that are supposed to be like the tree frog reference I had when I was drawing this on paper. It didn't turn out the way I wanted, but I still liked it. It looked kind of dorky, and I really liked that because I said that it would live in a palace. So I'm trying to decide if it should be with the Caldrians or the Sahardians or both. I'm thinking that I'm going to put them with the Caldrians, who ruling family is the Windsors, currently ruled by Queen Kaida. And I just went in and I decided to give it a little panda ear since you couldn't really tell it was a panda at the time. Then I decided I'd start coloring and give it that classic black and white panda look to start off with. Just a nice kind of deep black. That kind of reminds me now that I'm looking at it of Piper's sweater. I went in and just colored the legs fully that. Well, this is playing since I don't have a lot of commentary anymore. I just wanted to say I'm so grateful for all of you. Everyone watching this, everyone who's been supporting me through this growth. But yeah, thank you so much for all that you've done. It helps a lot. Then I went in with this color for the beak and the tail, because platypus. I don't really know, but I really like how derpy it looks. I don't know why I decided it looked like this. This is what I saw in my head. I don't know if it came out the way I really wanted it to, but I do love it in an odd way. It's like derpy creature in such a war-torn world, you know? Then I was trying to figure out what I wanted the main color to be. I wanted it to be light in kind of a white color, but not too light, because I didn't end up liking this brown, so I ended up switching it. I thought this was not light enough, but I didn't want it to be pink at the same time. I wanted it to be like a grayish, brownish color. So you can see I was messing around with the colors, and I finally found this one, which I really liked. So I went in and I finished coloring this little guy completely this color. Yeah. This little guy, he's gonna live in with the Caldrians, I've decided. It's going to live in Queen Kaida's palace. They have been owned by the Windsors for several generations. They're quite exotic, and they're quite loved throughout the people. And I really love how this guy turned out. Very cute, very, very cute. Next creature we dive into is this guy. He's a bit more of a serious creature. They are these nightmare creatures that I have here. This creature was inspired by a vampire bat, stegosaurus, and sloth. Very odd combination that I had to make look somewhat intimidating, which is quite hard considering my art style. You can see I took those stegosaurus spikes that we often associate them with and ran them along the ridge of the spine. I also had these giant bat wings. And it was given that it was going to be a ghost-like creature. So you can see that the back half of it is more wavy and less solid than the front half. It has these stegosaurus spikes on the edge of its tail. Again, I'm really proud of how this one turned out. I gave it the sloth claws that there are on sloths, on their little hands. This creature kind of haunts in the darkness. I'm not really sure how it'll play into the story yet, but I'm trying to incorporate it somehow because I really love it. I then went in to color it, and I decided it'd have a darker color scheme than the other ones with a more purpley aspect. It's more purplish, and it has, again, this color that does remind me again of Piper's sweater. It's gonna have, it looks kind of fluffy, which I didn't really try to do, but it ended up looking kind of fluffy, and I really like it since it adds a softer side to such a, I want to say scary, but supposed to be scary creature. I liked how this shade of purple, the gray, I guess, had a purplish undertone, which really added to what I was trying to do. Here I was only doing the front half of it for a reason. I was going to go in with a different shade and do the back half of it a different color for its ghostly side. I then decided to go in with an even darker color and do these little spikes, which reminds me of like Nathara's eye color, kind of. Her iris, the whites of her eyes. I very much kind of had inspiration from Nathara's eyes for this one, because I wanted it to be darker. And then with that little eye bag, I was trying to make it dark, but not too dark that matched everything else. So I decided with that color. Then I went in with this really nice, really dark purple that I had found. And I did the back half of it and smudged it to like kind of blend them together so that they didn't look, unblended. So I went in with that and did all of this. I colored down the tail, and then I realized when I was doing this, I forgot to do the edges of the tails and the claw spikes with the same color I did with the back spikes. So I had to quickly grab that color and fill those in. So you can see I had those look a bit more wavy and the claws look a bit more solid, like I said, because it's ghostly. I then went in with the ears as well, because I decided I really liked that. Then I was looking for a wing color, and I decided on this like kind of grayish purple color that's not too dark, but not very light at the same time. It's like a medium purple, but it's also nice, this gray color. So I went in with that and just started coloring the wings. I was originally thinking, what if I did an ombre with it? But then I decided I liked the solid purple color, since I didn't know what other color I could use on these wings. And I didn't know how I would incorporate it without it looking somewhat messy. So this creature is more of a dark one. It's called an umbra, which I looked up the name. And then I have these guys. These guys are inspired by porcupines, axolotls, and sea turtles. I don't really know how they came to be. Well, again, the card thing. But I don't know. I was unsure of how to make this design, how I was going to color it even. I decided the turtle shell could be covered in porcupine spikes. I wanted to make them look somewhat soft-ish, but I didn't intend to at the same time. These guys are more of a forest creature. I imagine they look harmful, but they're actually pretty not harmful. They're pretty decent creatures. if you noticed, all of these creatures have like that swooping neck and the same body shape. It's because for a long time I drew dragons mainly, and that's the body type I used for them. I would have a big swooping neck, a long tail, that face shape. So when I transitioned back into doing this, to making these at least, I'm planning on making more maybe, if this goes well. And, they all have that body shape, so I just do that all the time. Then I decided that since there's not a lot of sea turtle aspect, I was going to use mainly like green colors and like foresty colors for it. Like I said, kind of make it blend in with a bit of camouflage. I decided that the little axolotl fins, or I don't know what they're called, the little thingers on it would be this nice limeish green. I liked how it had this nice grayish undertone. It's not too bright, because I feel like otherwise it would have not been a pretty green. I decided to also add it on the edges of the feet, because I was originally planning to go in with a different color, like a pink or something, but then I decided against it, and I went to this brownish color, and decided to fill it in with this one instead, which has an orangey undertone, and it's very nice, I think. This creature is very mossy, I feel like. I really like how it has a moss kind of look. I named these guys the X shells for their spiky shells. This guy, I was really unsure where I was going in the first few minutes of making him, but then I decided if I just roll with it, I should be able to find something that I like. So I just kept going in with that brown, and then after that, I took our little color chooser, and I went to a darker brown for the little spikes, kind of a porcupine shade. I think I haven't seen a porcupine, but when I imagine a porcupine, I imagine brown spikes. So I had these nice dark, dirtish brown spikes that I really liked. So I just carefully colored that in. Again, little shell of spikes. For the eyes, I didn't mean to make it look that angry, but it kind of just happened, so I rolled with it, and I gave it this nice deep green eye, which, in honesty, looks a lot like Piper's eye. So then I went back, because I named them all, and I forgot to put them. These are the Ongers. They live in war zones. These are the Flogs. They live in the palace. These are Umbras. And these, of course, are the Axe Shells. And now, if you're still here, I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.